Hello. Hello. Hi, everyone. I welcome you all to this Alumni Talk. I welcome Khushi J, who is a data scientist. She
Right.
has a wide,
Thank you.
yeah, I welcome you, Khushi. You can start your video streaming. You can switch on your video, Khushi. Hi.
Right.
So, yeah, Khushi has a wide area of experience. She has worked in various companies and she is currently working as a data scientist. And I'm so glad that she is one of our alumni, and she has taken her time out of her busy schedule to share her experience, and so that her experience and all her views benefit our students and also all those who want to be an aspiring data scientist. Yeah, hi. Yeah. To begin with, Kushi, we all know you have worked in so many companies. Just we want I want to I want you to begin with just a brief introduction. How you got into data science and what was your first thing which inspired you to get into this data scientist. I know you had worked as so many like in your career you have worked across so many others under so many positions. So, what made you get into this data scientist? What was how was the beginning? How all it began? Just we want to know.
Yeah, sure. So it began actually since beginning, even when during my college time, I always had the interest of learning as much as possible, especially from the technical point of view. So I completed my post graduation in MCA, and since then on, it was no looking back. Whenever it comes to tech side and computer side, and that time I passed MCA around 2013, and that time there was no such buzzword like machine learning, data science, or anything like that. And I
Yeah.
also was not even aware that there is something called as data science or
Okay.
AI, artificial intelligence. So nobody was even talking about it. But then I started off like as my career as a hardcore developer, so web development and all.
Mm-hmm.
So, but in between the journey, I got introduced to something called as chatbot.
Mm-hmm.
And chatbot is like initially the chatbot was like it was not an artificial intelligence, but at that point of time around 2014-15, chatbot would be considered as akin to artificial
Okay.
intelligence
Yeah.
itself because it's a virtual agent.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I started digging more into that area. So I got to know there is something called as NLP,
Mm-hmm.
and then I got to know there is something called as machine learning, and then I got to know there is something called as data science. So by
Mm-hmm.
the time I was in 2013 or 2018, I got something like, okay, this is something I believe it's a next big thing, because that time I was working not only as developer but also in chatbot, and I was frequently coming across these terms,
Mm-hmm.
ML, DS, and all. So the first thing when I was exploring, the first thing that I got to know is about the DataMites,
Mm-hmm.
and then I got to know about the program, and it sounded very interesting to me, and I always wanted to have a better edge over anything. Like if I'm doing right now, say data science, so I want to learn something which is going to be a next big thing 10 years down the line.
Mm-hmm.
So so that's how I started learning data science. And on top of that, I also did some bit of self study. And then how I officially got into data science, if you see, studying is a different part where
Yes.
you are doing a course and then you can do course forever, and it is helpful. It's I'm not even saying that it's not helpful. It is going to be a very big foundation, a stepping stone, but we have to transition where you actually become an officially a data scientist, or
Yes.
you want to implement or contribute something in that field. So the best thing that I can say is that once you start learning, you have to start implementing as soon as possible. So it can be a initiative on your own in if you're working, It can be initiative on your own in the form of POC, or you can initiate some presentation where you're doing some business use case and then presenting it out the scope. Or if you are a student, then student will have a better playing field because you are not bound by any company or organization. So you can explore around what's the current industry market, have a talk, have a network of mentors, and then understand what's going on in the actually at the industry level, and try to explore and then bring a project on your own. And apart from the project that DataMite or course is going to give you, and then try to explore in that. And once you start implementing, that's where your learning curve goes up exponentially. So that's how I did when I was working. While I was working, I started initiating quite a bit of POC. Some were taken positively, some were taken negatively, but at some point of time they saw some potential in that subject and in me, and that's how I got transitioned into data science.
Yeah, okay. That's nice. Nice to hear all your journey through the like, yeah. Like when you begin, like which subjects you found were really interesting, especially in data science, which part of machine learning you found really interesting, and you did kind of really very interesting projects. Can you share some of
Yeah, it's
insight, something
all
like
NLP. It was
NLP?
NLP.
Mm-hmm.
And that time, now it's such a boom. I had no idea that, LLM is going to be a big thing
Mm-hmm.
after ChatGPT. But that time itself, I knew that there is some
Hmm.
intuition. I had an
Oh,
intuition
nice.
that this is going to be a big thing.
Oh, okay.
And there was no Alexa, nothing. So NLP
Oh,
was something, and that time NLP we didn't have such big, huge language models and LLM. It
mm-hmm.
was mostly the most bare minimum pipelines of data science, like text cleaning
Okay.
and stemming lemmatization, and then
Okay.
doing some modeling, like very naive, this naive based classifier
Okay.
and
Okay.
all that, very very primitive one. Then I got to know there is something called as transformer based learning. So even I don't think I'm still learning. I feel
Mm-hmm.
like,
Mm-hmm.
especially in technology, whether it is data science or whether it is artificial intelligence, there is no
Mm-hmm.
saturation, there is no zenith of it. You have to keep on learning, you have to keep on amalgamating all the knowledge that you have done. So NLP was thing, and then I wanted to develop a good chatbot. That's how I picked up the interest in NLP. But then when I got actually into the data science, then it was not just about NLP. Then I got to know that it's beyond that. There are a lot many things that you can do. So right now where I'm working, it's a fintech based industry.
Mm-hmm.
It's an NBFC based this one, and we are not doing much of the NLP base rather than the classical machine learning part,
Okay.
where you are doing random forest, XGBoost, and all. But yes, NLP is also there because there is something where we also want to be part of it. First thing is that, and another one is that uh, even if we want to avoid it, it somehow still comes on our lap.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, this is something use case which we cannot avoid. So now I am in that zone where I not only have to work on the classical data science machine learning part, but
Mm-hmm.
also I have to take care of the NLP part also. So NLP right now in this scenario, today's world, NLP is akin to synonymous to LLM, right?
Okay. Yeah, yeah.
So large language model.
Mm-hmm.
So that's now it's good thing that now we have got lot many infrastructure. We have cloud-based infrastructure where they support all the computation part, the infra part, where you don't have to take care of the the computation, the memory, the load, and infra and all. So my suggestion would be that interest is one thing, but you also need to understand that how you're going to stay relevant in the industry. So if you are interested in something in data science, but you have to make sure that your interest is always relevant to what the industry is right now doing, and what business is trying to make some use case out of it. So if I had like if what my approach was in the data science 5 years down the line, and if I had used the same approach today, it probably won't work, right? So every day we have to make sure that we stay ahead of the technology. You don't have to be expert in everything, you don't have to know everything, but at least where you are working and what your interest fields are, at least to that point you have to make sure that you stay enough net connected, you have enough good amount of mentors or good amount of exposure to that particular field on a daily basis. So that's what I believe.
Okay. Any tips for the freshers, those who are and aspiring? They are just most of them have completed their data science
Yeah,
course, yeah, and they are doing some projects. Any kind
yeah,
of tips for them, like what kind of POCs they should go ahead with, what is
uh,
currently in demand in market, so that they can concentrate and focus their energy on those kinds of POCs and projects, which will make their resume shine out
right,
among the competition.
right. So there are two, three things I would like to cover. Please have patience on that. So first thing is that if you land into industry, so what you have learned and what you will see in industry, you have to cover a big gap on that. That is something that you have to be mentally ready. Uh, what Because like I said, what you are learning and what you will be implementing, that there is a steep learning curve in that. So when you get into industry, you are basically implementing, you're learning, but that is not what you will be paid for, right? So that won't be, that is your personal priority. But when you are actually into industry, you will be only seen what you're performing, not what you're learning. Okay. Second thing is the projects that I want to talk about. If that is again, I'm saying it is based on what is your interest. Data science itself is a very large field. It's a huge field, and there are a lot of subdivisions. And data science is not just about NLM. It's not just about random forest. It's about the domain. If you are into, say, medical domain, then the game will change completely. If you're into a financial domain, then the game will change. And if you're, let's say, into what is that, commercial shopping, like uh, what we call
Retail
e-commerce.
e-commerce, yes.
E-commerce. So if you are into e-commerce, then the game will change. There you will have recommendation engine more. They emphasize more on recommender system. If you're into fintech, they will more emphasize on to, let's say, logistic regression or classical machine learning, random forest and all. Or if you are into say customer service level, then you will be more into NLP. Or if you are, let's say, into simulation, gaming simulation, then you will not even learn probably classical, you will not implement classical machine learning. You'll be mostly into gaming, means reinforcement learning and all. So if you want to get into, let's say, if you're very keen on a particular domain, then you have to pick that project which is similar to the business use case at the industry level. So you have to do that research from your point of view as a fresher. And if you are into that domain, you have to do first that research, and then make sure that your business use case stands out. So how it stands out means there are only two things that you have to make sure: how it is getting impacted and how many users are going to get impacted because of that project. It's not like, okay, we when we are learning, the first project that I learned was spam versus ham in the email filter. For learning purpose, that is good, I agree. But if you want to stand out and you want to create a good industry level project, obviously that is nobody is going to ask, because there is neither no impact nor nobody is going to ask about it. So whenever you are picking a project, you have to minimum you have to look into these two things. One is how it is going to impact and how many people are going to get affected by that impact. So yeah, that is what I believe I can suggest.
Yeah, yeah. Thanks a lot. Like
Yeah.
that's very nice of you to guide them, because students, most of the freshers, they have all the energy, but they don't know where to focus on. Yeah,
Yes, yes,
yeah,
yes.
yeah. If the correct guidance is given, surely they can focus all their energies, like you have told just now. Yeah, with your experience, like like our freshers are also curious. Like how does a job as a data scientist look like? Yeah, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the funniest part is most of the time, if out of 100, 80% of the time it's all about data. You have to break your head in data. Only 20% of the time you are actually doing the modeling.
Mhm,
Okay. So if let's say I've got a data, you have to, it's not like Kaggle World where you will only get the data, ready-made data from there, and then you just have to run the model and then test it. No, that is something which we cover only 20% of the time from the
mhm,
timeline point of view. 80% of the time we have to understand data, we have to clean it, we have to process it, and we have to make sure that it is properly streamlined, the data quality and all.
mhm,
So at the industry level, data scientist has to know not only data science, but also a bit of data engineering, a bit of development, also a bit of domain knowledge, not bit, actually a lot of domain knowledge, and also from the business point of view, like as an analyst, how you are going to visualize the data and present it. And also you need to have a good communication skill, because uh, with the kind of impact that data scientist does in industry, we will have to justify whatever we are doing to the stakeholders, or to whoever we are going to present that okay, this model is going to boom your business, or it's going to impact your business. So even that convincing part also you need to handle it. So you also need to have good presentation skills and good communication skills as well. So it's an amalgamation of all the five components that I have mentioned.
yeah. Just now I heard, like you mentioned, that you need to know about a little bit of data engineering skills also. Like what
Yeah.
all things, yeah, you kind of deal with, yeah, related to data engineering.
So data engineering, like all the engineering that basically revolves. So if we talk about the conventional software engineering,
Mhm,
what does it comprise of? It comprise of you know uh, uh, doing developing an application, a database, and then if we want to have a better architecture, then you have to have manage the real time data for streamlining. Let's say for example, um, websites, a big website like which has millions of users, then you need to have load balancing and everything. So that is a whole full-fledged architecture, right? So
mhm,
that you imagine using for data which is like huge amount of data, and it's for machine learning and the data science.
mhm,
So
mhm,
now the focus is more than an application. The focus has become on the data and the relevant result around the data. So you have to adjust your engineering process around that. So that includes pipelining, real time streaming, then and then also you will have to host it on an application. So that application management, the entire architecture. So right now we talk about microservices, but I don't think now microservices we are more we are more focusing on. We are more focusing on how the data has to be streamlined and it is more real time. And if the model is there, so that model, how we are going to maintain the model versioning, what is how one model is effective than the previous one. It's not like one time business, you have created a model and that will go on forever. You have to, based on 1 year down the 1 year before what we have the data, and now what we have the data, there will be a stark shift in the population, the observation, the data. So based on that, we have to adjust our models.
mhm,
So that entire part, it's not just about I'm not just talking about the engineering only from the data science point of view, but the process revolving around this whole thing. So it also includes DevOps,
Mm,
MLOps, all that. So it's a whole universe that you have to create, and around that, whatever engineering is required, that is part of data engineering.
mm. Okay. Okay, it's nice to get all the insights for our freshers because they want to know what's all it's all about. Their working, how people are working. So, how is your kind of balance, work-life balance, and how is the pressure in the industry?
So it's not a linear thing, I can tell
Okay.
you. It's not constant that, okay,
Mm,
every day I'm,
mhm. How are the
having too much of
challenges? Yeah,
pressure.
yeah. Any, how
Yeah,
are the
but
challenges?
it depends. It
Mhm,
depends. Like it depends on project to project, how
mhm,
critical that
mhm,
project is,
mhm,
and how sometimes
mhm,
what happens, I come in the middle of the project and then
mhm,
they might need it like a very speedy delivery.
mhm,
So that is given, right? It's like
mhm,
I will be knowing that, okay, this is
mhm,
something which I have to pick it up,
mhm,
and then there will be pressure. But
mhm.
it's not a constant thing that
Yeah, yeah.
you
Because
will always have a
we got
pressure.
a question from one of our participants about this. Yeah, that's why I asked.
Okay.
Okay,
So
okay.
work-life
Yeah,
balance, yeah. I mean,
yeah,
it depends on your priority. If you
yeah.
talk about like 9 to 5 job, and then, it's not just in data science. I feel it's
Yeah, it's
in
everywhere.
every
It's even
field.
everywhere. Yeah,
Yeah.
we got a question from one of your anonymous attendee. So
Okay.
just I ask. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
okay, okay. Okay, that's nice. I'm so happy, Kushi, that you have been here. You have spent some time with us, and you have taken us through the what you call through the data science role and what to do, how to get into there, and also how things work out in real. Sure. Thank you, Kushi.
Yeah.
I'm so happy that you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. Any questions from our participants? You can just ask.
So, you want me to ask questions to the
No,
participants?
no. Like, are there any questions from participants? Just I'm asking. There were only two questions. I'm just asking that whether are there
Okay.
any more questions? If there are any more questions, like I'll just ask you. If there are no questions, I will just conclude. Yeah, it looks like no question from YouTube and LinkedIn. Uh, yeah, yeah, that's it. Thank you, Kushi. There are no more
Okay.
questions.
Thank you.
Thank you.